It's Bronze and Modern Gods. I'm John, and over there's Richard. What's up, Richard?
Hey, John, how you doing?
I am doing okay. We've got a lot going on this week. I say that every week, but we always have stuff going on. We've got our hot book of the week, our underrated books of the week, 25-year rule that's going to throw Richard for a little bit of a loop, I think, and our main topic, which is our top 5 Riri Williams keys. Riri. I have to do that every time. Riri Williams is coming to Disney Plus, right? It's a TV show.
Yes, she's coming.
I guess that counts as the MCU. It's cinematic. It's not in cinemas, but it's still the cinematic universe. I don't know. We're splitting hairs, and I don't have any left to split. But before we get started, I want to give you all a little update on NFTs. I know everybody's favorite topic. We wanted to set history. I said I wanted to be the first person to sell a comic book NFT during an Instagram live sale, and I think we were, Richard.
Yeah. I like how you snuck that in there.
I know. Look, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Who wants to make history?
Me.
All right. I am going to sell a comic book NFT. New Mutants 98, common. It is number 20,498. It is common, but it is a lower number in the less than 25,000. If you want it, type in NFT for $5. NFT 5 for the New Mutants 98 NFT.
What is NFT, John? It's all the comic.
It is a non-fungible token. It is one of one. There are only 60,000 of these in existence.
All right, you got a claim.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Who made history with me?
Pure Comic Collector.
Dude, I knew it. Thank you.
So, far as I know, we were the first person to do it. We were the first people to do it. So there you go. Also, Richard, you bought more NFTs last week, didn't you?
Yeah. FOMO. I ended up buying a Fantastic Four #1 common just because it's Fantastic Four #1. I saw value in that. And then I was watching, and you were reporting the run on pricing for Marvel #1, the common. It started off at $1 and it was all the way up to $17 when I looked at it again. And I said, well, I'll buy in for $17. So I bought a common as well. So
just to be clear, Marvel Comics #1 common, not Marvel's #1.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. The very first NFT for Marvel, right?
And here I am. I'm serving you all of this delicious NFT Kool-Aid, and then I realized I never bought a Marvel Comics #1 common either. If I'm going to dish out Kool-Aid, I better drink it too. I better drink my own Kool-Aid. And so I went and I bought. I went a little further. I scrolled. I sorted by price, and I went to 20 gems. And I bought the lowest number I could for 20 gems. So I don't know. I found that interesting that Mr. Argue With Me is now buying in it.
It's never. I try not to be too close-minded about things. So this is an opportunity. This is the ground floor of something new, and to me, spending a little bit of money to be a part of that initial round of people buying into this, I thought was worth it. Who knows?
That you just summed it up for me. I mean, we don't blink spending $4.99 or $5.99 cover price for a potential spec book that we are like, okay, sure. Why not spend $6.99 on something just to cover your bases? Especially, I'm telling you, these early ones, especially Marvel Comics #1, when they started announcing big books like Amazing Fantasy 15 and Ultimate Fallout 4 and stuff like that as NFTs, all these new people are going to come in and they were going to be like Pokemon, get them all. They're going to want that Marvel Comics #1, even if it is common. So, all right, let's get back to the physical realm from the astrophysical realm. That's another segue to our hot book of the week. which is Amazing Spider-Man number 641. If you would have told me after this book came out that the One More Day arc of Amazing Spider-Man would one day be selling for this amount of money, I would have laughed at you. One More Day, for the people who are not familiar, was the Joe Quesada brainstorm to wipe away Peter Parker's marriage for good. Basically, Mephisto done it. And Peter and Mary Jane were no longer married. The only person that had the memory of them being married was Peter and Mary Jane, but it was all very poorly done, ill-conceived. It wasn't really thought out. How much do they remember? Why don't they get back together? Just really weirdness. Well, this is the issue where Doctor Strange helps Peter by mind-wiping the entire world from the knowledge of Spider-Man's secret identity that was revealed during Civil War. Boy, comics in the early 2000s were. But this book is on fire now because it looks like we're going to see a similar scene in the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Well, we did see a similar scene in the trailer. Looks like we're going to see a similar scene in the movie as well. And that has spurred sales on eBay for raws of this book from $30 to $70. It's all over the place. People are scrambling for this. This is one, again, dollar bin fodder for a while. People needed One More Day.
That's right. That was I was about to say. Fortunately, blissfully, I was out of the hobby by the time this came around. But from what I've heard from you and from other people, this particular storyline was vilified because of the changes to Parker's life.
Yeah, it was a kind of a necessary evil. And this is where, again, I think we're going to get 50-50 in the comments. Peter Parker shouldn't be married. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Peter Parker is the lovable loser that, you know, the original Peter Parker, the core of Spider-Man is that he's every man. You can relate to him. You're broke. You're living with your aunt in Queens. You're just trying to make it. Peter was not made to be married to a supermodel that was jet setting around the world and working with Tony Stark. I mean, I know characters change and evolve, but who's relating to that at this point? So One More Day was kind of a solution. Let's just wipe the slate. You know, it's almost like Joe Quesada didn't care how they did it. Just get it back to single Peter. I loved Brand New Day, which was after that. Dan Slott came on. He had this nice, clean slate to work with, sort of. And Brand New Day was great. It was the first time I started reading Spider-Man again after years and years of, you know, just the wackiness that was going on. So people were divided both ways. People loved Mary Jane and Peter together and married. People like me, old farts that remember what Spider-Man used to be at its core, were like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. Where do you fall on that now? Do you want Peter married or single?
Oh boy. To me, Peter is he's single. Archetypically high school loser, nerd, you know, misfit. That's where his strength is. That's where his history is. To have him married to a supermodel just seems to go against all of that.
Well, also, I think the fan base aged and they wanted Spider-Man to age along with them. All right, Peter Parker, I can see college age, but married with kids and that's why I think Miles Morales is so popular. Miles doesn't have the back. Miles is old Spider-Man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He reset that entire mythos back to the high school, back to that misfit age, and you know the loss is fresh for him, and you know his drive is fresh, and I think that really has revitalized a lot of people's interest in Spider-Man in general.
And the humor. I mean, Peter Parker was a smart mouth, and he had fun with his other teenage friend, the Human Torch, and it was like, you know, a comedy almost sometimes. That's what Champions is sometimes too. So I think they found a clever way of having their cake and eating it too, maybe.
I'm curious to see, you know, we saw the trailer for No Way Home, and we'll have to wait to see how much it sticks to the storyline from the comic. If it sticks pretty closely, that's going to be difficult for, I think, people to really digest. But I have faith in the people behind the movies, that they'll find the right blend.
Is the Doctor Strange in No Way Home the real Doctor Strange?
Oh my goodness! Please, no more Mephisto. It's been now 3 TV shows where Mephisto is supposedly behind the scenes.
He's right there, right behind Omega Red. All right, so hold on to all those, everyone. All right, let's cleanse this palate with our main topic, our top 5 Riri Williams keys. Ironheart, Riri Williams is coming to Disney Plus. Good choice, I think. A fun character, a lot going on here. Richard, help us unpack it. What are we looking at? What should people have in their collection at this point?
Well, right. Riri Williams has been confirmed to appear in Black Panther 2, which is about July of next year. So you got a year to prep for this.
Mm-hmm. Her
first appearance, this is one of those split kind of books, kind of like Hulk 180, 181. All right. Her first official appearance as Riri was in Invincible Iron Man number 7. As a matter of fact, the third print for that book, if you look at the third print, it actually has Riri Williams in a little circle on the cover. It says Riri Williams' first appearance. It's like, so there's, I mean, Marvel has identified that book as her first appearance.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah, the third print is the one that you want to collect, in my opinion. First print, it's also valuable. The third print has a GPA right now of $370. So it's, in the scheme of things, it's still fairly affordable. If you see one in the wild, definitely pick it up for a reasonable price. But okay, that is supposedly Riri Williams' first appearance. Okay. Not supposedly. That's what Marvel says. Marvel is, they define canon. So that's that, right?
Are we going to have like a Scott Lang situation? Where Scott Lang's first appearance is in Avengers, but he's Scott Lang, but then he's Ant-Man in Marvel Premiere 47.
Very similar, very similar. Where her first appearance, she is just Riri. She is not Iron Man yet. So if you want to make the distinction of her first appearance being the first time she's identified as Iron Man, then you're going to want to look at Invincible Iron Man number 9, which is her first appearance as Iron Man. This book has, it's a very confusing cover. You're looking at this, at least the first and second print, some kind of Iron Man suit, but just not really declared what it is. The second print for this book has on the cover, again, the same image of Riri Williams in a circle, and it says featuring Riri Williams. It doesn't say first appearance, it simply says featuring. And this book seems to be the winner in terms of what people are putting their dollars behind. The first print for this book is $771 on GPA right now, last sale. The second print for the book is $579. And this book also has a gorgeous cover, an AOA cover, variant cover, which the GPA for this was the last sale was $37.95, so $3,800 for 9.8 for this book.
Affordable.
5
years old.
Yeah, this gets to the point where you wonder, should a modern book really be worth $3,800 5 years into its existence? That's debatable.
I look at it this way: did it sell for that much?
Yes, that is a sale price.
There you go. Then it's to somebody.
Yeah, that's very true. So if you see Invincible Iron Man number 7 or number 9, they are both good books to have in terms of Riri Williams keys. Riri's supposed to be showing up in more properties for Marvel too, so it looks like she's going to be a long-term character. The next book, number 3 on my list, is Invincible Iron Man number 1 from 2017. This is the first appearance of Riri Williams in armor on the cover. This is not the Ironheart armor. This is an Iron Man type armor, but she's there on the cover, and it's turning out to be a pretty popular book. The first print for this book $242. Raws go for a good amount. This is definitely a good book to pick up because it's still affordable. Doing my research, I found that there's a rare Amalgam Comics and Coffeehouse edition that's sold for $2,500.
Wowza.
Yeah, that's pretty steep. But the second print for the book, which has the blue writing instead of the red, it's also pretty rare. I was looking at GPA. There are no 9.8 sales on GPA, which is interesting because a mutual friend of ours, Minor Keys Comics, he bought a 9.8 second print for $1,000 a little over about 6-7 months ago.
Did you buy it on Instagram or maybe?
No, bought it off eBay. We were discussing it. Sorry,
Wow.
Stephen, if you didn't want that price to come out. There is one listing for this book on eBay right now, and it's for $2,300, $2,400, which is a pretty significant amount for, again, a book that just came out 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
There are a number of variant covers for this book. There is an action figure variant. There are a number of ratio variants. Most of them are good, and I would definitely pick up any of them at a reasonable cost. As we get more appearance of Riri and properties, we're going to see these early books really start to catch on. Next, I wanted to pick a book that wasn't an Invincible Iron Man book because obviously she's very closely tied to Iron Man.
Yeah.
So I picked the next one is Champions number 19. This is where Riri joins Champions. And there is a lot of long-term spec possibilities with this because I still feel that the Champions team is going to be in a future spec. And when it comes, it's almost certain to include Riri as one of the members of the team. Right now, GPA for this is only $150. So you can pick these up fairly reasonably. There is a second print out there that's more valuable. That is a cover spread with issue number 20. You want to keep an eye out for those. But this is a nice book to pick up now before people start turning their attention to it. So pick up Raws. If you can find affordable graded books, pick them up as well.
Excellent.
And then we've got Ironheart number 1. This is the first series as Riri Williams identifies not as Iron Man, but as Ironheart.
I have this one. I finally have one.
This is a great book. The order that things typically go, you get in terms of popularity, you get first appearance, maybe second appearance, and then first solo series or first solo appearance. That honor goes to Invincible Iron Man number 1,
Right.
the book that we just talked about a couple of books ago. This is her first solo series as Ironheart. So if you're looking at that,
that's what the show's going to be called. So I think this one may have some growth.
Absolutely. GPA for it, it's $285. There is a second print for this book that for a long time was expensive but reasonable. And by reasonable, you could buy one for about $50. I bought one for a little bit later, and it was up to $100. So I paid $100 for it. Now this thing is a ghost to find. Raws are going for $300-400. The GPA for the 9.8 is $764. I would buy it all day long. It's $764. I have a feeling at this point GPA is out of date for this particular book.
And but the blue logo.
No, this is a completely different cover.
Oh, different cover. Okay.
Different cover. Yes. It's her in a different pose on the cover. And it's very distinct from the original cover. We'll put up a graphic of the second cover here. So definitely keep an eye out for this one. This one is a low print run. I'm not exactly sure of the number, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was around 1,000. So definitely a book you want to keep an eye out for. And finally, I've got an honorable mention. This book I've mentioned before on the underrated books of the week, and that's Infamous Iron Man number 1.
Yep.
Which is the first appearance Dr. Doom as Iron Man. That's what I'll claim. But it's also the first appearance of the Tony Stark AI. The rumors are that Tony Stark is going to be a part of the future MCU as basically an AI, a holographic image that Riri will interact with, and he'll impart knowledge about how to be Iron Man. If you think about it, Riri's jumping into this armor and really doesn't have any experience. So supposedly this AI is going to be that mentor for her, and snarky and all that. It's possible for Robert Downey Jr. to be reintroduced, or it's an AI, so they could potentially have some other actor play the part and slowly transition away from RDJ, and so it's definitely a possibility. If we see some kind of AI for Riri in Black Panther, this is going to be a great book to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
$245 is the GPA for this book. There is a Blue Label second print, which I typically gravitate to just because of the lower print run. There's also a Ribic ratio version that is a really, really nice cover. GPA is 600 for it, but I'd buy it all day long at that price as well. You're gonna find it for more. But this is I think this is a good book. This is a good book to hold if you have it, and if you come across it, pick it up, because if that AI shows up, this book is going to be hot.
All right, you guys have your marching orders. Get to eBay, get to Instagram, get to whatnot, get whatever you do. Get these books now while you can. I think this is really going to have some legs, and I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to this one.
I am too. I'm looking. We've had Iron Man has been Robert Downey Jr. Since the first movie. I mean, his personality has been tied to that character. So to have a different character and a different take on what it is to wear the armor, I think is going to be exciting, and I'm really looking forward to see what possibilities will come out of it.
I was going to say something like, will Riri Williams be here 25 years from now? But I waste all that time trying to come up and back myself into a segue when I could just let's move on to the 25 year rule. Hey,
I did it again.
I know. You crack that mic when you do your 25-year rule gesture. All right, Richard, here's one for you. I never hear you talk about this book. Today's 25-year rule. We're going back to 1996 to Usagi Yojimbo #1. Huh? This is the first issue of the Dark Horse Comics run for Usagi. They took over from Mirage. It had a 16-issue run with Mirage Studios for a little bit there in the early 90s. And they had a really robust run with Dark Horse. It ran for 165 issues all the way to 2018. This originally for Dark Horse was going to be a 3-issue miniseries. I guess it worked out. And they just turned it into an ongoing with issue 4. The last GPA sale for a 9.8 of this version of Usagi Yojimbo #1 was for $150 just this past December, almost a year ago. Oh my gosh, wow. My life is flashing before my eyes. Richard, do you have this?
I do not. I do not have any of this Dark Horse run. I'm not surprised that it went as long as it did. Stan Sakai is a prolific artist and writer, and he enjoys what he does and enjoys the character. So I'm not surprised at all. This is definitely something I'm going to have to look at to try to fill out my collection.
Yeah, you have 165 more issues of
Yay!
purchase. So get on that, mister. All right, it is time for our underrated books of the week. I'm going to go first because I'm intrigued by this one. Nightside, #1. Anybody hear this book? Raise your hand. Anyone? Okay.
No.
Nightside #1 was a 4-issue miniseries that started in late 2001 and early 2002 by Robert Weinberg and Tom Derenick. It is just an obscurity from the early 2000s of Marvel. I stumbled across this in a back issue bin a few weeks ago, and I had never heard of it. I couldn't resist the covers, though. The covers are gorgeous. Luckily, the interior art is just as equally gorgeous. The storyline, it's kind of vampire related, and it stars Sydney Tane as pretty much a vampire hunter. There's a name, Sydney Tane. I'm just shocked that this character hasn't been revived since, because she's perfect for Marvel now with the diversity, a minority female lead character that kicks butt and looks like this. What's not to love? So where is Nightside? Well, apparently this was a creator-owned series.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah. So legal hurdles are probably too much to surmount. I wonder why they didn't call it Epic or something like that. It's weird. It's an easy pickup on eBay if you want to check it out. There is some beautiful art and covers. This is the kind of thing you buy just for the covers, and you look at it and you go, wow, this is cool. And then you put it in a box, and every 10
Yeah, we had discussed this earlier. Yeah, if Marvel wanted that kind of character, they would be better suited to just make a new character that with the same traits and call it something different, and just run with it rather than buy the rights to this character.
Well, the thing is, Marvel does have a Nightside that they own, and that is kind of a ripoff of Shadowlass from the Legion, because Nightside is a member of the Imperial Guard, which, as you all know, is a complete ripoff of the Legion and of superheroes from the DC side. So if they wanted to do a Nightside series, they could, but it would not be this person. It would not be Sydney Tane, who apparently has been mentioned a couple of times in the Marvel universe since, but and still, if you go to the marvel.com character profiles on marvel.com, there's Sydney Tane, Nightside on the Marvel site. So who knows what's going on with this character?
Oh, interesting. It's amazing what you find when you're digging through your long boxes.
Yeah, so Nightside, there you go. All right.
Well, your pick of Usagi Yojimbo puts me in the frame of mind for my pick, which is Lone Wolf and Cub #1 from First Comics back in 1987.
Yes.
Yes, this is such a great series. It was written by, I'm going to butcher some Japanese names. I apologize in advance. Kazuo Koyoki as the writer, and illustrated by Goseki Kojima.
There you
And oh yeah, then maybe it was okay. The art style is just amazing. It feels so traditional. This takes place in the Tokugawa era of Japanese history, when samurai and their ilk were very popular. Book came out in 1970, and it ran through 1976, and it was incredibly popular in Japan. Came out in 28 volumes. Each volume is 300 pages, so 8,700 pages is the whole shebang. It's started in the United States, or it was printed in the United States, and it had covers by famous artists like Frank Miller, Bill Sienkiewicz, Matt Wagner, Mike Plug. Just some of the real great cover artists grace the covers of some of the issues, and it's just such an awesome story. Storyline in summary: the main character is an assassin for the shogun, and through some political intrigue, he had his family was killed, except for his newborn son, and he is framed for being a traitor to the shogun and was told to commit seppuku, suicide. He presents to his son a ball and a sword, and lets the son choose their fate. If he chooses the ball, he'll commit seppuku, and that will be the end of it. If he chooses the sword, they'll choose a life of Ronin and wander the countryside. And the son goes and crawls over to the sword, and so Ronin it is. And they go out. The baby is being carried around in a stroller. The stroller looks more like a shopping cart than anything else. And it's got hidden weapons in it. There's got swords hidden away in it, and it's just awesome. So they wander around Japan as assassins for hire. And this goes on. There's an overarching story arc where he is he's trying for vengeance for his slain family, And there's a conclusion to the book. After 8,700 pages, there better be a conclusion. But no, it's an excellent story. And again, the art for it is just unbelievable. There are sections of the book that are simply just, landscapes and pictures of trees, and it just sets the mood for the book. The storyline was also an influence for The Mandalorian, where you had one person and had a child or son that he carried through his adventures. First Comics only did some issues. They did about 140 issues before they went out of business and weren't able to complete it in 1991. In 2000, Dark Horse just is the savior of all these series.
All over this stuff.
They printed all 28 volumes in a trade paperback format, reusing some of the Miller covers and the Bill Sienkiewicz covers. And they have a complete set, and you can go and find these on eBay, the complete sets of these trades. And it definitely is something that if you're interested in manga, you really, really have to read. CGC for issue number 1, there are about 130 on the census, 9.8s. There are 4 10s on the census for a book from 1987. I find that absolutely amazing. The book is still reasonable. It's a 9.8 will run you $200. And this is one of those books. I think anyone who's a fan of manga, anyone who's a fan of Usagi Yojimbo in that time period, this is a book that is more accurate in terms of historical content and setting than Usagi is, and it sets a very, very interesting and realistic kind of slant to the comic. Definitely well worth reading.
I love that he carried the baby around in a shopping cart. So it's like, I need a price check on a Ronin infant.
I just picture him like the crazy cat lady with a shopping cart full of cats, but instead it's a baby.
Well, the thing about this book is it came out when I was managing a shop that you used to come to, and it was huge. This was a big book that a lot of collectors jumped on because it was a very early prestige format title. And if people don't remember what the prestige format was, that's what Dark Knight Returns came in that format. Green Arrow, Longbow Hunters were the first real books to have that kind of bookshelf graphic novel presentation, but comic book sized. And First Comics did Lone Wolf and Cub in that format. So people were specking on this back then. People that the 10s, the graded 10 ones, people were saving these back then. It wasn't like they were reading it like manga, like they're supposed to from back to front. But this was a hugely popular book, and the Frank Miller covers, it was, obviously something he took a lot of inspiration from for his series Ronin. His style without Klaus Janson on those covers was that newfangled Frank Miller style that you loved or you hated. But people loved them some Lone Wolf and Cub, man.
Yeah, it sold, the whole series sold 8 million copies in Japan and 11 million worldwide. So it's definitely a hugely popular series, and it has its place to me in the annals of the best manga out there.
Agreed. Let's pour a 40 for our departed homies at First Comics. Pour a little 40. All right, that is gonna. Oh, I've almost said it. I'm gonna stop. No, that's not gonna do it for us this week.
Wait.
We're not being taken out and shot. We're gonna close up shop until Friday for our bonus episode. So make sure you join us then. If you're not following us on Facebook and Instagram at Bronze and Modern Gods, you're missing out. We've got stuff all week long for you over there. And if you like this video, show us by hitting that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you know when we're going live and when we're sending new episodes out to you. And Richard, that's gonna do it for us.
We're done in.
We'll see you next time.
To all my fellow Americans in the South and on the coast, we've got a hurricane coming in. Everybody stay safe, and we'll see you on the other side.
All right. See you guys.